A long time ago, there was a massive jungle where many monkey tribes lived. Each tribe had its own trees, which grew bananas, and they all had different ways of doing things. Some tribes were big and powerful, sitting on piles of bananas and guarding their trees with care. Others were smaller and had fewer bananas. These smaller tribes often felt ignored and dreamed of one day having more trees and more bananas. The jungle wasn't at war, but things were tense. Some monkey tribes didn't trust each other. Each tribe had made promises to defend one another if things went wrong. They told each other, if someone throws a banana at you, I'll throw one at them. These alliances were meant to keep peace, but in reality, they turned the jungle into a giant ticking bomb. The biggest monkey tribes were Britain, France, Russia, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. The British monkey tribe had the most bananas and ruled over many faraway jungles. The French monkeys were proud and had a lot of experience in battles. The Russian monkeys had the largest tribe, but they struggled to stay organized. The German monkeys were strong, fast-growing, and eager to prove themselves. They wanted more trees, more bananas, and more respect from the rest of the jungle. The Austro-Hungarian monkeys were older and starting to lose power, but they still had a big tribe. The Ottoman monkeys were once mighty rulers, but now they were weaker. There were also smaller but important tribes like the Serbian monkeys who were bold and full of spirit. Then you had the Italian monkeys who couldn't really decide which side they were on. And across the ocean, far from the main jungle, there were the American monkeys quietly watching everything unfold. In 1914, a prince monkey named Franz Ferdinand from the Austro-Hungarian tribe decided to visit a part of the jungle where the Serbian monkeys lived. The place was still under Austro-Hungarian rule, and it was a very tense place. Many of the Serbian monkeys there didn't like living under the Austro-Hungarian rules. So as the prince rode through the streets, a young Serbian monkey filled with anger threw a deadly banana at him. Both the prince and his wife were killed. The Austro-Hungarian monkeys were furious. They blamed the entire Serbian tribe and sent them a list of harsh demands. The Serbian monkeys accepted most of them, but refused a few. That wasn't good enough, so Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. This is when all those promises the tribes made with each other kicked into gear. The Russian monkeys, who were friends of the Serbians, started getting ready to defend them. Seeing this, the German monkeys, who were close allies of Austria-Hungary, decided to act first. Germany declared war on Russia, then Germany declared war on France too, because France was Russia's ally. Germany had a plan. They wanted to surprise France by swinging through the trees in Belgium, which was a neutral tribe that wasn't supposed to be touched. But Germany didn't care. They invaded Belgium anyway. That invasion made the British monkeys furious. Britain had promised to protect neutral tribes like Belgium, so Britain declared war on Germany. Within just a few days, the entire jungle was in chaos. Two huge teams quickly formed. One team, called the Allies, included Britain, France, Russia, Serbia, and later, the American monkeys. The other team, called the Central Powers, was made up of Germany, Austria, Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. At first, many monkeys thought the war would end quickly. Some said they'd be home before the banana trees grew new fruit. But this war didn't last weeks. It lasted over 4 long, painful years. On the western side of the jungle between Germany and France, things got really bad. The monkeys dug deep trenches in the dirt to hide and fight from. These trenches were muddy, cold, and full of disease, and rain made everything worse. Monkeys' feet were always wet, and some even lost their toes to rot. The land between the two trenches was called No Monkey's Land, because stepping into it almost always meant getting hit with a flying banana and dying. They used poisoned bananas that burned the eyes and lungs. They even built giant tanks so they could shoot bananas out of. And for the first time ever, planes flew above the jungle, dropping exploding bananas from the sky. Meanwhile, on the eastern side of the jungle, the Russian monkeys were having their own problems. Their army was huge, but they didn't have enough bananas to feed everyone. Monkey soldiers were starving, cold, and tired. They kept losing battles and getting pushed back. By 1917, they couldn't take it anymore. A massive revolution broke out. The Russian monkeys kicked out their leader and set up a brand new monkey government. This new group didn't want to fight anymore, so they made a peace deal with Germany and left the war. This gave Germany a huge boost. Now they didn't have to fight on two sides. They moved their monkey troops to the Western Front and launched one last big push to win the war. But just as they were doing that, something else went wrong. Far away, the American monkeys had been watching the whole time. They hadn't joined the fight yet, but they were selling bananas to the Allies and making a lot of money from the war. Germany didn't like that. So the German monkeys secretly sent a message to the Mexican monkeys asking them to attack the United States. But before the message could reach Mexico, the British monkeys intercepted it. They showed it to the American monkeys, and the Americans were furious. That was the last straw. In 1917, the American monkeys officially joined the war. With fresh energy, lots of bananas, and a big army, the American monkeys gave the Allies a much-needed boost. The German monkeys were running low on bananas, losing battles, and dealing with angry and hungry monkeys back home. By 1918, Germany realized they couldn't keep fighting. On November 11th, 1918, all the monkey tribes agreed to stop fighting. The jungle finally went quiet. Monkeys hugged their families, cried for their lost friends, and tried to make sense of everything. Over 16 million monkeys were gone. Parts of the jungle were burned down, trees destroyed, and life would never be the same again. In 1919, the leaders of the winning monkey tribes met in a big treehouse in a place called Versailles. They created a new set of rules called the Treaty of Versailles, but instead of building peace, the treaty punished the German monkeys harshly. Germany had to give up trees, pay a lot of bananas, and wasn't allowed to have a strong army anymore. The German monkeys were humiliated. They felt unfairly blamed for everything. The Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman monkey tribes broke apart into smaller tribes. The Russian monkeys started a new kind of tribe with totally different rules, and the American monkeys returned to their side of the jungle. Even though the war had ended, the jungle was not at peace. It was filled with pain, anger, and broken promises. To prevent another war, the monkeys created a group called the League of Nations. It was supposed to help monkey tribes talk through problems instead of fighting. But not every tribe joined. Some ignored it completely. And the truth is, the war didn't solve many problems. In fact, the way it ended created new problems. Just 20 years later, the jungle would go to war again. And there, you'll meet a monkey with a funny mustache.